FBI releases witness statement on Diddy's party
that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
Girls, hang on to your wigs, because the FBI released a bombshell that will upend everything we previously believed to be true about Diddy's parties. People are reporting that a fresh witness is spilling the tea, and believe me when I say this information is scorching hot. We went down behind those velvet ropes for VIPs. We're talking about secrets that could ruin Diddy's entire enterprise. The feds aren't messing around this time, quicker than you can say, bad boy for life. These new revelations have the potential to drastically alter the situation for Diddy and everyone in his circle. They're not simply idle rumors. Get ready for the inside scoop, because things are about to get serious about what was going on at those infamous gatherings. They are going to become very messy very soon.
The feds, they also revealed that they got photos and videos of Diddy freak-offs.
When they did that raid, you understand? What they did was, prior to the raid, they reviewed that civil lawsuit. And that civil lawsuit told, Cassie's civil lawsuit was LeRod had already did it. LeRod hadn't did his yet, did he? Did LeRod do his lawsuit before the raid or after the raid?
Oh, before.
Yeah, so what they did was they reviewed both of those civil lawsuits and found that there was some criminal activity in those lawsuits. We spoke that on Art of Dialogue. We spoke about that on your show. I said if they really wanted him, all they had to do was review those civil lawsuits. And once they find the criminal activity in those, they could bring him in. Now, did the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Miami do it? No, they didn't. Did California do it? No, they did not. The Southern District of New York, they took it upon themselves and put on that raid and everything based on the information they found in Cassie lawsuit and the information they found in Little Rod lawsuit. But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Cause you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period? It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turn around and give him the key to the city. All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning. They all resigning. People ain't gonna tie this together, but if you look at it, you have to say, because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
Yeah, the feds revealed that, anybody that, participated in any, criminal behavior at his freak-offs, they're going to pursue.
Listen here. The mayor here take like 15 spoons of sugar in his coffee. So it's all a possibility.
Do you think it's any celebrities on them tapes?
Bro, he gave celebrity parties. So what you think? I think they're not telling the whole truth, is that because of the situation in Miami and the situation in California, and they closed the clubs like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. or something like that, that Justin and Christian was bringing big vans of girls and people back to the mansion and giving parties and stuff like that. And a lot of those stuff were their parties. A lot of that shit was their parties. They wasn't always Puff parties. It was his son's parties.
Good point. They said some of these freak-offs will last for days.
That's where they're going to get him on the sex trafficking thing. Especially like if he was traveling and doing it. That's where the sex trafficking come at. That you hiring sex workers to come and have sex with your girl. That's crazy. That's some Hollywood that I don't even know, bruh. That's crazy.
Hold on, we're not done yet. Word is spreading around the streets about a new player in this game who was present when her circle of friends were in their 20s. This isn't just any regular Joe snitch, this is someone present for all the action at Diddy's infamous parties. They've seen and heard it all, and now they're ready to spill the beans. The FBI is listening intently, so what dark secrets are they finally ready to reveal, and why is the agency handling their words like gospel girls? Dangling, this mysterious witness is suddenly dropping words on every syllable. I know you're itching to know who this person is, but the feds keep that information secret tighter than Fort Knox. What we do know, though, is that they were deep in Diddy's circle, hanging out with the Alice crowd and privy to all the behind-the-scenes drama. So what's the tea this witness is serving up? It's scalding. They're talking about wild parties that would make the Wolf of Wall Street blush. We're hearing about drugs flowing like water, celebrities letting loose in ways you can't even imagine, and some seriously shady business going down when the cameras weren't rolling. But here's where things get interesting. They're not just talking about the party scene, they're dropping bombs about alleged illegal activities, hush money, and cover-ups that could have Diddy eating bullets.
Yeah, that is crazy. But they also claiming that, Diddy, he'll give ecstasy to his victims to keep them obedient.
Then they have to bring those witnesses in there. That's going to be something hard to prove. Unless Lil Rob or or Cassie state that was something that happened. That's how the prosecutor's going to prove that. They got a ton of evidence that they got to try to prove, bro. A lot of that shit that if you read it, it could be circumstantial. You know what I'm saying? But they got to have witness to back it up. You just can't say that happened based on somebody's lawsuit and what the words that they're saying. They have to have witnesses in there. And I think Puff lawyers is going to be smart enough to attack that.
Right. And they claiming that Diddy, he was blackmailing his victims because he had videos from old freak-offs and he was using those videos to get his victims to do another freak-off. So
if he was blackmailing people, especially people that work for him, see, this is what it's going to get him at. See, people think that, those people work for him, or those people, if they was artists and they worked for him, or they were engineers, or they anybody that worked for them and stuff like that, your boss cannot blackmail you to do nothing. If you do a sexual act or you doing anything, your boss, if he have you doing those things like that, then he could be liable for suit. Because you're not doing it willingly. Because that individual is your boss. So psychologically, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what nobody say, that when somebody has something over you, could determine your job, your career, your livelihood. That's somewhat of a blackmail if they holding stuff that they've done, that you've done in the past, over your head to make you continually doing that stuff. Now, that's where he loses at. Because some of those people work for him, or he was a part of doing something. They was part of doing something for their career with him. That's why he loses that case.
This witness is spilling lines that line up with some of the rumors we've heard about Diddy's parties for years, but it's also adding new flavors to the mix. They're filling in gaps, connecting dots, and painting a picture the FBI believes is real. Why should we feel this person, and what makes their story different from all the other rumors we've heard? The FBI thinks this witness is the real deal. They're treating this testimony as alerting us that this witness is naming people left and right, not just random people. We're talking about a roster of celebrities, music industry heavyweights, and even some people you might not anticipate being entangled in all this drama. It's like a who's who of Hollywood and the music business. Nobody is safe from this. In The Village, the witness discusses a culture of access and privilege surrounding Diddy and his inner circle. They're narrating parties where the rules didn't apply, where money talked, and everything else walks. They're hearing about private islands, yacht parties, and exclusive events where what happens in the VIP stays in the VIP until now, but it's not all glitter and sparkle. The witness also discloses the negative aspects of all this partying. They discuss how people fall into debt and overextend themselves with favors and obligations handled in ways that will make their skin crawl. It depicts a world war in which the distinction between party and danger quickly became very hazy. However, we must keep in mind that these are still only accusations at this point. Diddy's crew is undoubtedly preparing a solid defense against these allegations. Still, if even half of what this witness alleges is accurate, girl, we might be in for a scandal that rocks the entertainment industry to its foundation.
So they're playing music in the background. I'm either have to trim out this part or mute this part, because I already know the music ain't gonna be able to get played because of copyright reasons. Just letting y'all know.
Myth, or if this is true, but I'm told that when you go to a hotel, anytime you go to a hotel, you don't just check in the way everybody else does. You send someone ahead to prepare the hotel room for you.
It's called preparing the sexy.
Preparing the sexy?
Yeah.
What's preparing the sexy?
I mean, when I walk in, I definitely take pride in being the originator of the preparation of the.
Y'all, just when we thought we heard all we needed to.
This is what I'm talking about as far as when videos start to resurface, even if you go back and listen to music, because like everybody got their ear to it now. You're paying more close attention, because I never seen that interview there. But like, you know, when you say it all makes sense now, it all makes sense.
Know about Diddy's freak-off parties, reports are coming out that federal agents are reaching out to witnesses to share what exactly happened at those freak-offs. And let me tell you, the details coming to light are way darker and more disturbing than anything we've heard so far. Like, we all know Diddy threw some wild parties, but this, child, is a whole different level. So here's what's going down. Insiders are spilling that the feds are building a case around these notorious freak-offs, and now witnesses are stepping forward. And what they're saying about what really went down at these events is sickening, even for Hollywood. There are whispers of out-of-control behavior, some borderline satanic ritual mess, and full-blown X-orgy wrong. And then there's this one man on X who shared a video spilling the tea on how Diddy would use tapes of these freak-off sessions to blackmail some high-profile executives.
Hey.
But get this man's whole account was removed from X before people could catch on to what he was trying to say in his video. So clearly, Diddy is just the tip of the iceberg here, and it looks like there are a whole bunch of powerful individuals who were involved in those freak-off sessions.
We talked about that. That's why I was like, gotta watch. They're talking about he's on unaliving himself watch in prison, but it's like, okay, who's watching him? You know, because they could easily make it look like something, because he's protecting all these huge names.
And now that Diddy has been placed on watch, folks are speculating that these higher-ups that he was blackmailing will try to Epstein him. Y'all, this whole situation is absolutely terrifying. So stay with me, because I'm about to give you the full scoop on what happened at Diddy's freak-offs.
And on my way upstairs, there's like this couch, and on the couch, I saw a couple of guys really going at it hard and heavy, man. And I was like, oh, as I started moving upstairs, I passed them up, and I noticed that it wasn't just those two guys, it was more and more people just going at it.
Okay, y'all, let's talk about this for real, because a lot of people have been out here making jokes, memes, and sketches about Diddy's freak-offs and those 1,000 bottles of baby oil. But trust me, there is nothing funny about this situation. What we're really seeing here is a dark glimpse into just how twisted and dangerous the industry can be. These powerful people, the ones running the Diddy's show behind the scenes will stop at nothing to satisfy their sick, twisted desires. And Diddy might just be one of many pawns in this game. Now here's where it gets even more wild. While Diddy's name is all over the headlines right now, it's looking like there are much bigger fish out there who are sweating hard over what he could expose. These high-profile figures are shaking in their boots because if Diddy talks, the fallout could be massive. And guess what? It's just been confirmed that Diddy's now on side watch at the Brooklyn jail where he's awaiting trial for his alleged role in an ring. According to the New York Post, Diddy's mental state is unclear, but they're putting him on watch as a preventative measure. Now, you know people are already out here comparing this whole situation to Jeffrey Epstein's case. Remember how Epstein was supposedly found dead in his jail cell after taking his own life? Yeah, nobody really bought that story. Epstein had dirt on everybody, from celebrities to politicians, and we all know he was running some dark behind-the-scenes blackmail operation.
Yes.
He'd lure these high-profile people to his sick parties, get them involved with individuals underage, and allegedly tape the whole thing, using the footage to blackmail them for who knows what. And before you ask what the motive was, well, you already know. I can't get into the full details here because YouTube will snatch this video down real quick. But if you do some digging into Epstein's background, his connections, and the role his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell and her father played, you'll start to piece together which foreign country's intelligence agency Epstein allegedly worked for. Now let's get back to Diddy because the whispers in the industry are wild. Word on the street is that Diddy was pulling the same kind of moves as Epstein. Allegedly, his freak-offs weren't just about wild parties. They might have been part of a deeper, more disturbing blackmail operation. There's speculation that he was also luring big names to these parties, getting them involved in shady situations, and possibly using that as leverage. And now with all these new details coming to light, the industry is in full-on panic mode. The higher-ups are terrified that if Diddy spills what he knows, it could expose a whole web of power.
Yeah, they said to watch Jay-Z and Beyonce next. Watch them next. So
Diddy's parties were like a who's who of Hollywood. What happens when the spotlight turns on the guests? Some careers might never recover from this mess. Girl, this tea is too hot to handle alone. The Wittness is naming people more quickly than a hot potato, and believe me when I say there are some severe power players on this list. We're talking about actors who have starred in major motion pictures, musicians with hit songs that have reached the top of the charts, and influencers with millions of followers. You wouldn't expect to see these people involved in all this drama. These are different from your typical party guesses. These people have the power to create or break careers with a single tweet, but the truth is that what matters most is what they were doing, not just who was present. The witnesses were revealing everything about the actions of these CBS when they believed no one was around. We were told about outrageous antics that would make even the most ardent fans cringe. Partygoers blush from connections that may end marriages, and drug use that would make Keith Richards look like a lightweight. Everything is coming to light now, and let's remember the young people who were trying to break into the business. The Wittness is speaking of young stars who felt pressured to go to these parties and engage in dubious activities to gain access. This paints a picture of a toxic culture where success comes at a heavy cost. Diddy's parties were like a who's who of Hollywood. What happens when the spotlight turns on the guests? Some careers might never recover from this mess. Girl, this tea is too hot to handle alone. The Wittness is naming people more quickly than a hot potato, and believe me when I say there are some severe power players on this list. We're talking about actors who have starred in major motion pictures, musicians with hit songs that have reached the top of the charts, and influencers with millions of followers. You wouldn't expect to see these people involved in all this drama. These are different from your typical party guesses. These people have the power to create or break careers with a single tweet, but the truth is that what matters most is what they were doing, not just who was present. The witnesses were revealing everything about the actions of these CBS when they believed no one was around. We were told about outrageous antics that would make even the most ardent fans cringe. Partygoers blush from connections that may end marriages, and drug use that would make Keith Richards look like a lightweight. Everything is coming to light now, and let's remember the young people trying to break into the business. The Wittness is speaking of young stars who felt pressured to go to these parties and engage in dubious activities to gain access. This paints a picture of a toxic culture where success comes at a heavy cost.
The industry is in full-on panic mode. The higher-ups are terrified that if Diddy spills what he knows, it could expose a whole web of powerful individuals doing things they really don't want the public to know about. And the fact that Diddy is on watch is sending red flags everywhere, and people are already saying that those higher-ups he was blackmailing for years might pull an Epstein on him. Now, how do we know that Diddy was really running a blackmail operation? Well, technically, we don't know for sure, but there have been plenty of clues and hints dropped by multiple industry insiders that paint a pretty clear picture about those freak-off sessions. And the scary part is that it looks like people are now being silenced left and right for trying to expose high-profile individuals who attended Diddy's freak-offs. So there's this user on X who went by the handle @A_Major420, who's been dropping hints on his account about Diddy's parties even before Cassie got the ball rolling with her lawsuit back in November. This user, who apparently works in the music industry, would occasionally post about how he can't wait until Diddy and his music executive bosses are exposed because people don't know half of how dark the industry really is. Now, you know how it goes. People are so brainwashed to worship wealth that every time someone criticizes a rich celebrity, folks jump to their defense, accusing the critics of being broke and jealous. But now that Diddy is behind bars, the narrative is definitely shifting, and people are digging up those old posts from folks who have been trying to sound the alarm about Diddy for years. So anyway, after Diddy's arrest, this user @A_Major420 came back on X and posted a video where he talked about how when Diddy was just starting out in his career, he allegedly threw one of his infamous parties and invited all the top Jewish executives in the industry. But here's where things take a dark turn. Rumor has it he laced their drinks with something that, let's just say, made everyone a little too loose. And before you knew it, the party spiraled into a full-blown But Diddy wasn't there just to party. The tea is that he supposedly recorded everything that went down that night and then used those recordings to start blackmailing these powerful execs. Word on the street is that Diddy got a lot of his early influence and power by holding this footage over these executives' heads, using it as leverage to make some major moves. So anyway, that user on X who posted the video about how Diddy started blackmailing these executives, well, he had his whole account removed by X, and the video has now disappeared from the internet. I really did my best to try to find it, y'all, but they really buried that video. They removed it so quickly that no one was able to do a screen recording. But if it pops up somewhere,
that's why I said, like, you notice, like, when I be talking or some other people talk, it's like, it's hard to just come out and say what you want to say on the platforms. You gotta kind of talk around it or talk in codes. You know, certain words you can't use, even like I said with this whole title of this video, certain words you can't use because, hey, they'll snatch it down.
You may be asking yourself why it matters who attended these gatherings. Girl, it is essential because it exposes the murky side of the entertainment industry. The Wittness describes a complex web of favors, extortion, and cover-ups that kept people in check as well as secrets. We're already witnessing some celebrities enter damage control mode, canceling appearances, and keeping quiet. Others are undoubtedly contacting their solicitors and PR teams to try and figure out how to spin this if their names come out, and you know there are some power couples out there. The fallout from this could be enormous. The Wittness also discloses how these parties reflected the culture surrounding Diddy and his circle. People who have been buddy-buddy for years may suddenly find themselves on opposite sides of this scandal, and those who have been riding on Daddy's coattails may be looking for a new wagon to hitch themselves to very quickly. Sweating bullets wonder if their dirty laundry is about to be aired for the entire world to see. But this mess could affect more than just individual careers. It's like high school all over again, but with much higher stakes and much more illegal stuff going down. Remember that these are just allegations, but if even half of what this Wittness is saying is accurate, girl, we're looking at a scandal that could shake the entertainment industry to its core. Careers could be ended, relationships destroyed, and reputations shattered faster than you can say bad for life. It wasn't just about having a good time, it was about power, influence, and who you knew. The more wild and outrageous you acted, the more in you were.
floating around online for a minute now. There's this independent journalist, Ian Carroll, who shared several videos a few months back about Diddy's rumored blackmail ring. And he alleged that this has been going on in Hollywood for decades. And y'all, this rabbit hole is deep.
In order to understand this lawsuit against P. Diddy, you need to understand the history of blackmail. A lot of people in the comments are misunderstanding why rap music is so anti-gay. And a lot of people understand the ties of Israel and the Mossad to blackmail by Epstein, but a lot of people don't realize the ties of blackmail back to the invention of blackmail and the Jewish mob. So if you don't know what's going on, Diddy, one of the most influential people in the rap industry over the last 30 years, just got served this court case that alleged all kinds of crimes, including
You can't say
especially having all of his homes wired with cameras and hosting parties with underage girls, rappers, label executives, celebrities, politicians, and collecting sex blackmail on tons of important people. Like, we're talking Jeffrey Epstein level of operation, but in the music and entertainment industries. The FBI was founded by J. Edgar Hoover. He actually was the head of the Bureau of Investigation, the BOI, before the FBI was even invented back in the 20s. And he served there for 11 years. Then they invented the FBI, and he served as the head of the FBI for 37 years, totaling 48 years leading what was more or less the FBI. So we're talking like all the way from like the Great Depression through World War II into like the 60s. Like through the 60s music revolution into the 70s. All of that time period, the FBI was led by the same person, and he was one of the most corrupt government officials in all of US history. And understanding the state of organized crime and of law enforcement in America is impossible if you don't know about J. Edgar Hoover. And understanding the nature is impossible if you don't know about Meyer Lansky, who was a boss in the Jewish mob back in the 30s, 20s, like the Prohibition days and so on. Meyer Lansky, this Jewish mob boss, basically invented the concept of blackmail. And he did it blackmailing J. Edgar Hoover, the guy who was explicitly supposed to be taking guys like Meyer Lansky down. The Wikipedia articles are sanitized, but basically Meyer Lansky had a photo of J. Edgar Hoover using his mouth on his main assistant, Clyde Tolson. Realistically, it was his boyfriend. They were a couple. But then, once Hoover was blackmailed, he was like, how much worse could it get? And so he started hosting blackmail parties in collusion with these mobsters and inviting all sorts of important people to these blackmail parties to collect his own blackmail. This all happened in what was called the Blue Suite at the Plaza Hotel. And it was basically a bunch of male cross-dressing all caught on camera for like a decade or more. And because Hoover was already blackmailed by the most powerful gangsters in the world, like he just went and hosted them, and everybody got blackmail on everybody. But the critical piece to understanding the gay aspect of rap music today and the whole situation back with Hoover is that at the time, remember, Cold War, McCarthyism, like we got to get rid of all the communists. There was what was called the Lavender Scare, which is basically just saying that they were all really worried that gay people would get blackmailed by the Soviet Union. And so it wasn't good to be gay, because if you were gay, you could get blackmailed because you wouldn't want anyone to know you were gay. And so don't be gay. And so you should be ashamed of being gay. And so then they'll blackmail. It's like, it's like a big circle of how the one creates the other, creates the other, creates the other. Yeah, now think about rap music. All the rappers are super hard and like gay people suck, and then like a bunch of them are gay and they're getting blackmailed about it, and so they rap more about how they're hard and gay people suck, and it creates this little circle. Yeah, the blackmail industry learned early on back in the Cold War that it is much easier to do blackmail in a culture of anti-gayness, because gayness is not wildly uncommon. Lots of people are gay. But the more you can stigmatize it and make it a taboo, the more they have to hide it, and the more easy it is to exploit it when you offer this taboo thing to the people that want it. And then the stronger your power over them is when you have them on film doing it. You feel? So, back to our boy Diddy, who founded his record label when he was only 24 years old. Became one of the most successful record labels of the time. He was able to do that because he was financed and supported by his mentor. And he found this guy, Diddy, on the up and up in one of his companies, who we now know from this lawsuit and the other lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend Cassie, which is horrific, disgusting, not a good read. We know that Diddy has some real effed up proclivities, as well as just generally probably being at least gay or bi, one of the two. Finds this guy with questionable morals, questionable habits, and ready to go crazy haywire, whatever. Like, he's willing to shoot people, he's willing to launder money, he's willing to do crazy, he's willing to do basically anything. This is just me speculating on his motivations, but mentored Diddy and brought him up and elevated him to a record executive by helping him found his label, Bad Boy Records. He did that. And then Diddy, along with a lot of help from a lot of other people all around him, proceeded to do 30 years worth of blackmail operations within the rap industry, and promoted artists that seem to have been ensnared in it, like Usher, for example, like Meek Mills. Hell, even Justin Bieber is like directly in this storyline. And so what you wind up with is a rap industry, a music industry that is full of people that are creating the types of music that the people above them, that the people that hire them, that the people that manage them want them to make. They're all terrified of stepping on the wrong toes or getting out of line or doing what they're not supposed to for one blackmail reason or the other. And we wind up with an entire industry full of musicians that are glorifying gangs and violence and sex and drugs. I mean, think about it. There's no better way to undermine an entire population, an entire race, an entire culture than to target their kids with subversive messages that they're going to think is cool, and the parents can't say shit about it because then the kids will just think it's cooler.
Yeah, I told y'all that Diddy and that baby oil are just the tip of the iceberg. It seems that underneath all this drama with Diddy is a whole web of powerful people involved in some really dark dealings. And let's be real, we've probably only scratched the surface of what actually goes down at those freak-off parties. If the rumors are even halfway true, the things we've heard are nothing compared to the real tea that's yet to come out. So let me know how you feel about all these new stories that are coming out about Diddy's freak-offs. Is Diddy really Epstein 2.0? And do you think he'll live to tell the tale and expose those higher-ups he was allegedly blackmailing? Drop your comments below and stick around for this next video.
The FBI isn't here to play out for blood, so put the party guest list aside for a while. What if these new revelations are only the appetizer and Diddy's business is destroyed? The rumors on the streets are that the FBI is pursuing Diddy and isn't going to stop with these fresh witness accounts. The feds are assembling evidence that has the potential to upend the world of daddies more quickly than you can say. Greater money, greater issues. The FBI is treating this witness like they've struck gold, and for a good reason. If even half of what they're saying is true, Diddy could face serious legal repercussions. We're not just talking about a slap on the wrist here. We're talking about potential charges that could result in him having to trade in his designer suits for an orange jumpsuit. Now, let's discuss what these statements mean for the investigation. Push money and cover-ups, girls, that's the kind of stuff that makes the feds tingle. If they can substantiate these claims, Diddy might be charged with money laundering, racketeering, or even drug trafficking. And let's not forget about all the celebrities who could get caught in the crossfire. The FBI might start looking into those threads, and who knows what kind of mess could come to light. You might be wondering what Diddy's camp says about all of this. They're trying to maintain their composure, but you can bet they're sweating bullets behind closed doors. We're having severe difficulty, but that's just lawyer language, meaning daddy lawyers are probably working overtime to figure out how to spin this problem. They published some evasive statements about unsubstantiated allegations and collaborating with authorities.
He actually might be worse. Crazy to say it. That was a lot, that section with the guy talking, but basically he's saying that this stuff has been going on for years. I remember when I talked about this for the first time, they said, man, this definitely has been going on for years. And again, it's not about, I don't think people care about people's sexual preference as far as men with men, women with women. It's the whole forcing that. And like I said, that video of Wu-Tang Inspector Deck talking about it be some of your favorite rappers that be inside of those rooms doing that stuff. But then, when it's time to perform or make a song, it's all hardcore and stuff as if they don't do that type of stuff, So that's the whole point of him bringing up what he was talking about, you know, because when you think about rap music, you think about, you know, it's being hardcore. They're going to talk about money. They're going to talk about women. They're going to talk about drugs. They're going to talk about, you know, how many women they can get, all that type of stuff. And, you know, it's like, you think about rappers and them being with another man. It's like, no, like they ain't going for that. But hey, it be some of your favorite rappers. But, you know, you go to these parties and you're being recorded doing all this stuff.
What will happen next for the FBI? The real story is that the FBI might not stop the raids, even though the streets speculate about potential future raids. They have already targeted some of the target's properties, but with this new information, they may prepare for a second round. Just Diddy, this whole investigation could start spreading like wildfire through the music industry. We're hearing whispers that some of Diddy's associates are already lawyering up, afraid they might be next on the FBI's hit list. And let's not forget about the financial side of things. The feds love following the money trail, and with Diddy's empire there's a whole lot of cash to trace. We might start seeing his business deals coming under scrutiny, his assets getting frozen and his empire crumbling brick by brick. But here's where it gets really interesting. What if this Wittness is just the tip of the iceberg? The streets are buzzing with rumors that more people from Diddy's inner circle might be ready to flip. We're talking about folks who've been ride or die for years suddenly deciding it's time to save their own skin. And you know the paparazzi and gossip blogs are having a field day with all this. Every time Diddy steps out, they're all over him like white on rice, trying to catch any sign of stress or worry. The pressures mount, and it's only a matter of time before something's got to get. Now we got to remember that right now these are all just allegations. Diddy's innocent until proven guilty. That's how the law works. But the court of public opinion, that's a whole different story. Diddy's reputation is already suffering from this incident, and it may have significant long-term repercussions for both his career and legacy.
See, nobody wants to be in contact with anybody that allegedly was sex trafficking. You see what the WWF did to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was one of those people that was called for sex trafficking. We don't hear a lot about it because he gave up the company, he did what he was supposed to do, and he became Ghost. But now you see they trying to do the same thing to Puffy. They trying to make him or hip-hop the face of sex trafficking, like they was going to do the WWF at one time, because that was a big story. So a lot of his people that know him, a lot of the people that been in those parties and seen probably some unscrupulous shit that went down and was like, ooh, I was there. I hope they don't got me on tape. They feeling a certain way. So they're not going to speak on nothing until they've been approached with something. You got to realize when Homeland Security get their evidence together, they're going to send agents out. You understand? They might send an agent out to me. Yo, what do you know? What have you heard? What have you seen? What's been going on? You know what I'm saying? You know, did this happen when you was around him? Did this happen back in the day? That's what they're going to want to know. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to send investigators out. They're going to send people out for anybody that they can get some information from to help their case. So those celebrities ain't going to say nothing. You know, you got your man Stevie J speaking on it right now. He'll be one of the first dudes that they'll probably pull to the side and say, yo, well, you say that your man, I heard you on TMZ said that he never did this and he never did that. But ain't this you? If those pictures or those films or anything like that exists. You know what I'm saying? That's what they pay those agents to do. So, of course, I don't believe that none of the people who or his celebrity friends is going to speak or say nothing until they're either contacted or they know what they really got.
So you feel like they might be worried that they might be on tape at one of Diddy parties doing something they wasn't supposed to be doing?
I think that the celebrities that may be worried is because what Lil Rob said. Lil Rob said in his affidavit that Diddy had every room taped and bugged. Diddy had, yo, bro, can you imagine he had every room taped and bugged, and they found little bugs or little tape recorders, little those micro projectors or whatever like that, or video cameras. They found them in the house, bro. So by them having those things in the house, and people know there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's loose women, there's loose men, woman on woman, man on man, all kind of crazy shit. Bruh, they just wondering who or when they're gonna let this stuff be known. If it's on videotape.
Yeah, man, I know they gotta be shook, man, after finding out he was recording everything.
But not only celebrities, I don't think it's only celebrities gonna be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there. Hallelujah. That's crazy.
You personally, you think they got tapes?
Well, my personal opinion that if Lil Rob could be trusted and his statements are true, they got him. They got tapes of stuff.
This new witness reveals details about the WI parties that might completely alter our understanding. We're talking about narcotics, hush money, and cover-ups so elaborate that it will make your head spin. The tea is boiling and ready to destroy Diddy's entire enterprise. The music industry is reeling from the possibility that Diddy's career, legacy, and entire Wrong Boy brand could all be at risk. But the real question that everyone is asking is, what other skeletons is Diddy hiding in his closet? If this is just the tip of the iceberg, chilly, we could be in for much more drama. The streets speculate that this could end an era, and we're all waiting to see what bombshell will drop next. The FBI is not messing around this time, they are treating